I think we all know what a Bond movie is, but how do you make it in a way that's yours, in a way that you love, and the way that is personal? And I think so that dialogue all the time between playing on the iconography, on the tradition of Bond, and allowing it to breathe and live and have the fun and the elements that a traditional Bond movie has, and at the same time making it yours, specifically yours. Because I think the most difficult thing of all is keeping one's intuition alive. Because you get to the point on 97th day, you're so pleased to have got a good take of whatever piece of action you're trying to do, that you can often forget to ask yourself, well, do you actually like it? Which is a quite different thing. Yes, it works, but is that what you set out to achieve? Is that does it have a point of view? Is it lit the way you want it to be? Is it inflected in the right way? Is it your film rather than just, a generic piece of action? I don't think I've ever had a cast that every single person has said yes. In fact, I think that's probably true. I think there's always been at least one or two roles that have been. And here was this, everyone said yes, and of course, my ideal would be Javier Bardem, but he probably won't say yes. Yes. Well, I'd love a Ralph Fiennes type. Well, why don't we have Ralph Fiennes? It was that sort of, so it was I felt very, very fortunate. He's magnificent. Obviously I'm biased, but I've always felt he was just one of the great actors working in film today. He's, performance after performance, there's a sense of power and soul, and he's also very mysterious, I think, on screen. There's a great mystery about him, which is, I think, very, very difficult. And but what I think I'm most pleased about in this movie is that he had fun, and he sort of, in a way, allowed himself to be playful, to be mischievous, to be camp, to be, and yet never lost all those other things: the danger, the mystery, the strangeness, the otherness. And I think that was the balance we had to strike. It had to be real enough, but at the same time, have the flamboyance of a great Bond villain. And I think one of the things that I set myself when we were writing the script to begin with, and thinking about what we wanted to achieve, was to try and find those heightened Bond villains of yesteryear. The ones that really felt like the Dr. No's and the Goldfingers and the Rosa Klebs. The ones that had that kind of, and were also played by great actors. That ever so slightly theatrical, and yet all the more frightening because of it. And I think he's done something wonderful. And when someone jumps off a 200-foot building on a rope, it's exciting. You're capturing it on film. When Daniel Craig is literally on top of a train traveling at 50 miles an hour, which, by the way, when you're on top of a train is fast, across a bridge 400 foot in the air. And when you're on it, I can tell you this because I went on it when it was static, not when it was moving. You can't see the bridge, so it literally looks like you're traveling over air, nothing. There's nothing beneath you at all. And he's fighting on that at 50 miles an hour. That's exciting. It's a huge adrenaline rush, just watching it and knowing you're capturing it. I'm incredibly proud to have made the film that I feel like we've made without compromise. And I think, without compromise in areas of, I think there's an enormous amount of pressure now. Well, why are you doing that live? You can do that in visual effect. You can do that as a computer-generated image. You can do that as a green screen. You can do that as a face replacement. You can do that and that and that. I pushed ahead with a lot of, no, it's Bond. I don't want it to live in a CG world. It's got to live in the real world. In terms of stunts, in terms of action, you have to feel like he's really hitting. It's one of the things Daniel does so brilliantly as well, is that you feel he's really there with, and there's something at stake. So you've got an actor like that. Let's use him in that way. So I think that's a huge degree of pride, and I'm really proud of the performances, because I think they're a great cast, and I think they're really giving of their best.